オックスフォードストリート、この角度から見るのはあんまりないですね。あ、すごい賑やか。
Sorts of skills that people will need to get going if they want to get a job here are free to our existing students. Yeah.
はい、皆さんこんにちは、マリーです。今日はここオックスフォードストリートに面している語学スクールスピークアップロンドンに来ています。学校スタッフのクリスさんです。はい、ナイスミーチ
Hello, nice to meet you.
はい、じゃあ今日はクリスさんにこれから学校の中を紹介して一緒にキャンパスツアーを行っていきたいと思います。じゃあ行ってみましょう。そう、いつもここのドアは学校が始まる時間は空いてるらしいので、ここの大きな鏡でチェックをしてから学校に可愛い感じで行けるみたいな、可愛くかっこよく両方ですね。 OK、 ここがセルフィーエリアですね。インスタに載せましょう。で、階段を上がっていきます。
All the informations about our schedules.
ここに課外プログラムの内容とか、今度これがあるよとか、これとかだと例えば遅刻した時はどうするかみたいな、15分以上遅れたら、クラスに直接行くんじゃなくて、先に受付に行くみたいですね。なんかそういうのとかがいっぱいここに常にディスプレイされてるみたいなので、入ってすぐのとこなんで、ここ確認するには最適な場所ですね。レセプション、受付とクラスルーム1番とスチューデントラウンジ、スタディエリアがあります。
Just right here.
いや、でっかく書いてあるレセプション。あとこれさっきと同じやつですね。で、ここが受付エリアです。普段はそこのね、レセプションに行くためのドアが開いてるらしいんですけど、今日めちゃめちゃ暑いので、エアコンのために今日だけは閉めてるそうです。なので普段は開けてね、こう入ってきて、でレセプションの人に「今日私始めるんですけど」って言うという感じですね。はい。じゃあここがスタディエリアとスチューデントラウンジ。オックスフォードストリート、この角度から見るのはあんまりないですね。ここがそうですね、スタディエリアでスチューデントラウンジで、さっきのね、画面にあったものの紙バージョンがここにも貼ってあるみたいな感じになってます。So is this usually where the students hang out?
Yeah.
Between
so
classes and stuff.
You will see, like on break time, everybody is gonna be here. Soon we're gonna change everything again because we used to have like lots of sofas here,
okay.
like a lot of places, but we are changing at the moment.
Okay.
They have the coffee machine, like every time that they need,
コー
they
ヒーを買える
come
マ
and
シン
have
がありま
here.
す。
So you just need to like have your card.
300円ぐらいで、普通のコーヒーの半額ぐらいで買えます。
And out here we have the study area, so we have quite a few photos about our programs, our students. We have this area here that they can use the computer to study it or even to work. We have normally some students that stay here for work.
OK、OK。生徒さんはたくさんここにステイして、なんかこう勉強を続けたり、授業の後に宿題やったりとか、そういうスペースに使われるみたいです。2階です。OK。So how many classrooms
So we have 12 classrooms.
OK。全部で12室。で、
like mixed levels.
OK。もう全部のクラスがフルですね。生徒が結構たくさんいます。あ、すごい賑やか。おー、全部フルですね。すごく静かに授業してるとこと、めっちゃ賑やかに会話をして盛り上がってるとこといっぱいありました。学校が始まる時に各生徒さんが、この英語の勉強の中で何を勉強したいか、何を特に学びたいと思ってるかっていうのを聞くそうです。でそこの中でなんかスピーキングに特化したいとか、もうちょっとこう筆記を頑張りたいみたいな人がいたら、その人たちは別々にして、逆にその同じ目的を持つ人たちを一緒にしてクラスにまとめるっていう感じになってるので、さっきの 雰囲気の違いは多分スピーキングをたくさん伸ばしたいって考えてる人たちがまとめられているレベルのクラスはわーってみんな喋ってて、静かに書いてる人たちはもしかしたら筆記とかそういう文法とかに特化したいみたいな人たちなのかなと思います。楽しいですね。すごくいいですね。Thank you very much, Fred, for taking your time.
Of course.
So, would you quickly introduce yourself, your role within Speak Up?
Yeah, so my name's Fred. I'm the Director of Studies at Speak Up London.
Okay.
So it's my job to manage the classes, to look after the students' academic experience and make sure that everyone's learning as effectively as possible.
Okay, thank you. そう、じゃあ今日は学業の主任の先生のフレッド先生にちょっといろいろお話を聞いていきたいと思います。First of all, would you give us an overview of what Speak Up London is like? What sort of students do you get? What nationalities? What are the age range of the students?
We have a really good nationality mix. We have people from all over the world and from Japan, from Korea, from Mongolia, from all over Europe, from Italy, from Spain, from France, Poland, also from South America, Brazil, Colombia, Peru, and from lots of other countries as well. So there's a really good nationality mix, and it's the perfect place to meet people from all over the world and to learn English in a multilingual environment. So our students are all 16 plus, the majority are 18 plus. We do take some 16 and 17-year-olds on our adult courses. We have classes at 4 different times every day during the week. Our mornings and our evening classes are particularly popular. And we have classes at all levels from elementary to advanced. So we cater for all levels and will help you to progress during your time with us.
I guess youngest currently being 16, 18 around that age.
Yeah.
What's the oldest age?
We do get some much older learners. Sometimes we have people in their 50s and 60s or even older. So we welcome older students. The majority of our students are in their 20s. Or maybe 30s. But I think that language learning is a continuous process, and at different times of life sometimes you feel like you're making a lot of progress and then maybe it gets a bit more difficult.
My mum wants to go to a language school. She's in her 70s. So.
She'd be very welcome.
Yes. And what are the students' background like? Are they, so if you say most of the students are in their 20s or 30s, are they students themselves back in their own country, or have they finished maybe universities and they came here before work, or what sort of circumstances they are brought here?
One interesting thing I think for us is our location means that not only our location in central London on Oxford Street.
Very central,
We're very attractive to people coming from abroad who want a central London experience, but we're also very conveniently located for people who are already living here and maybe working during the day. So we may be working during the day or working in the evening, and they want to have classes around that. So we have a whole range of people. Lots of our students are studying in their own countries and they come here for some time during their studies. Other people are working, they're at the beginning of their careers or in the middle of their careers, and maybe their need for English has increased possibly, and so they need to come and dedicate some time to developing that. But we also have lots of people who are based here more permanently or semi-permanently.
Have really good mixture of people coming from overseas and the people who are already based in. Okay. And what sort of courses are available in here?
So we have lots of general English courses. We have a bit of business English, and we also have some exam preparation courses. IELTS is the most popular thing, of course. One thing that we have introduced quite recently is some extra classes, which are free, which are aimed at people on the YMS scheme, for example. I know that some students from Japan fit into that category. And that is what we call our careers club. There's work on CV writing, job interview practice, also writing effective cover letters, sorts of skills that people will need to get going if they want to get a job here. We also have some study skills workshops as well to help people to develop the skills they need to learn themselves outside class.
But and those classes are all free for existing students.
So those extra things
Yeah.
The Careers Club and the Study Skills workshops are free
Yeah.
to our existing students.
Wow.
Yeah. So lots of people do a general English course in the morning, and then they might once a week have one of those extra classes, which is part of our social program. So we've got
Yes.
a range of social activities going on every week.
Okay, it's really good for YMS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it should be really useful for people who maybe you have the language, or the language is developing, but you need a bit of help with the
Definitely.
the practicalities.
Yeah, that's on top of your general English skills.
Yeah.
So definitely. Okay. So I'd like to ask a little bit more about those job skills and CV workshops you provide, because our video is sort of aimed at future YMS visa holders. So you said it happens. Those free workshops, do they happen every week, or do they happen like fortnightly? Or
So at the moment, every week we have either a careers club session or a study skills session.
Yeah.
So I think the careers club sessions happen fortnightly at the moment, usually on a Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
And then if that's not happening, the study skills workshop is happening instead.
Okay.
But there's lots of other stuff happening as well.
Yeah.
So speaking classes, conversation clubs.
And how many students do you usually get in those, let's say, CV or study skills?
It depends. We'd have a maximum of 16.
16.
But it's usually a bit fewer than that. It depends.
Okay. Does it last an hour?
Yeah, that will last an hour.
Okay. And have any Japanese YMS visa holders took part in those?
Yeah, I think we've had some. Yes. Yeah.
And do you see any particular challenges that Japanese students may have, or Japanese YMS holders may have, when it comes to learning English or like finding a job in London? Have you noticed anything?
I think finding a job, I think there are lots of intercultural considerations and some practical differences which people need help with.
Right.
So what is expected on a CV,
Right.
how to sell yourself.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that can be a difficult thing. Promoting yourself effectively.
Yeah. I think culturally Japanese people tend to be more reserved, and staying humble is probably the way, but obviously it's opposite in here. You need to sell yourself.
You need to sell yourself without looking like you're selling yourself too much. So
I know.
it's a very difficult
There's
balance.
A fine balance, yeah. Do you think they can learn all these things when they take part in those classes, and they probably learn how to write the CV in the way you just described? So sell yourself but not looking like...
Yeah, so we try to help people with things like that.
Yeah.
Careers club sessions are not so long, but we give a good background. If you want more more focused work on your particular CV, then you can book one-to-one lessons as well, which is a nice extra. Of course, you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
But then we could really help you with the particular issues that you have, or that individual students have.
So some students probably have prepared the CV themselves and maybe just want a little bit of proofreading or checking the grammar, etc. Can that be catered, or do they need to book one-to-one? What do you recommend?
I think the most effective way of doing that is to book one-to-one lessons with us, and then we could sit down with you for an hour or a couple of hours, and sometimes that's all the time that's needed to transform the CV or to really make it effective.
Yeah, and when it comes to job interviews or like preparation for that, what kind of information can they get from the school?
So they can learn a bit about the practicalities, what to expect on the day, and also the types of questions that people ask, and ways of structuring a response effectively. Sometimes I think in a job interview you get asked a question and it's difficult to come up with something quickly. Can you give us an
example?
Yeah, so I think that we teach people how to give people practice in drawing on experiences, telling stories about situations that they've been in themselves that demonstrate the qualities that the interviewer is looking for. I think sometimes in the job interview, particularly when you're nervous, it's easy to speak very generally.
Yes, I see.
But if you can pick out some particular examples of your own experience and relate them to the question that the interviewer is asking, that can be very helpful.
I see. Perhaps could you share any memorable stories of Japanese students or YMS visa students who studied in Speak Up?
Let me think.
When we have too many.
We've had lots of Japanese students. Sometimes we have people who have had jobs while they've been here, working in restaurants. Maybe people coming between shifts.
Yeah.
That's quite a common situation. Yeah, I think that often with Japanese students, I think that the underlying knowledge that they have is very strong.
Yeah.
It's just giving people the ability to use it, to really produce the language they need to show themselves.
So that they can express themselves a bit more.
Yeah, and I think I've seen lots of examples of that where, over time people have become more confident, more comfortable in the environment and more able to use what they already know.
We'd like to know what kind of students you think would be most suitable for Speak Up. When I talked to your colleague Kat online the other day, she actually mentioned a really good system where students can, let's say, book for like 12 weeks of general English when they start and find a job, or they come on a YMS visa. Then they can maybe change the course time to like evenings or Saturdays, and that kind of you offer that kind of flexibility. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I think that's quite unique. It gives benefits on those people. I think I need to study for at least 3 months, but how can I manage work and study?
I can talk a bit about that.
Yes, please.
I think when students are booking their course, maybe you don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Yes.
You want to study, you want to get a job, you want to have a good experience in London in general. If you book, for example, a 12-week course, maybe you want to study in the morning, but then after a few weeks you get a job opportunity that you'd like to take, then we can maybe freeze your course for a few weeks if need be.
Okay.
Or we can move your course to another time of day. So we have classes in the morning, 9 to 12. We have a class 12:30 to 3:30. We have some classes 4 o'clock to 7. And we also have evening classes 3 nights a week.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of flexibility, and we can adjust your schedule to work with your job, which I think is important, and I think hopefully that takes away some anxiety at the booking stage where you don't want to commit too strongly because you don't know what's going to happen.
I think being in central location, I think a lot of students can find a job quite easily in and around this area. It's even easier to manage their work schedule, so they can just pop in and pop out, I guess.
Yeah, I think this is a convenient place to be studying if you find work. There are lots of opportunities locally in retail, in shops, and also in hospitality, so restaurants and hotels. There are lots of jobs available, and also being right in the centre of London, we're quite well located. Maybe if you are staying in the north but your job is a bit to the south, then we're the perfect place to stop off on your way home for a couple of hours.
Totally. And also you mentioned that there are people who are already based in London, so I think mixing with those people who already have local knowledge is actually really beneficial for the people who've just arrived, aren't they?
I think particularly in our evening classes, we have a lot of people who are working during the day in London, and then they have classes here in the evening. They're often very interesting, those people. You can learn from their experience if you're a fellow student. Maybe get a bit of advice from them. There's a whole range of different experiences that people are having, and it's a very stimulating environment, I think, for that reason.
Definitely. Okay. Now, since January this year, the YMS for Japanese people, the allocation number has expanded to 6,000. I guess the people in the 20s and until 30, they have the freedom to apply for the visa at any time now. They don't have to go through the ballot system anymore. So what kind of piece of advice would you give to those Japanese future YMS holders?
It's a big question. I think the advice that I would give to people is to go for it, because it's an amazing opportunity. It's great to have the opportunity to come and work in a different country. If you come to the UK, to London, you study here and you work here, that's an experience that will stay with you for the rest of your life, and it will look great on your CV, I think, in the future. And also the language skills that you learn here will be useful for the rest of your life. I think that a lot of business these days is done in English, even when it's two people from different countries where English isn't the first language. If you can get really good English skills, that will be a massive advantage in the future. And particularly the ability to speak and listen and communicate effectively. You might have lots of knowledge, but if you don't have the opportunity to speak, to practice communicating, it's difficult. So this is a great opportunity to do that. I think it's a bit scary when you arrive, and I think that, of course, it's a bit stressful being in a foreign country, being in a different country where you have to do everything pretty much in English. But we will support you. We have lots of staff here who will help you with your English, but we can also support you with your life in London. You can tell us how you're getting on, and if you have any issues or difficulties, we can give you advice. So my advice to people who are thinking about it is to take a chance, to go for it. Nothing bad should happen, and you'll learn a lot and you'll have an amazing experience. But you need to go in positively with an open mind and see what happens.
Okay, thank you very much, Fred, for taking your time, and it was lovely talking to you.